Welcome to the 4th Prime VR2 training module, User Groups. In this training module, I will explain which rehab games are used for which rehabilitation case, difficulty levels, and scoring. Rehab games per user group. The nature of the user groups greatly influenced the selection of the 5 rehab games. All games had to address the needs of at least one, if not more, target groups. There are 3 rehabilitation cases: sports injury or musculoskeletal, dystonia, and patients after stroke. 5 focus areas were used during development: the movement of the shoulder, elbow, wrist flexion, wrist extension, and finger flexion and extension. Every rehab game is optimized for different rehabilitation cases. Splatterama, Shapeshifter, and Garden Master are suitable for patients after stroke and patients with sports or musculoskeletal injuries. The rhythm game is developed specifically for patients with dystonia, with some overlap into the remaining groups. The office game addresses all groups through the mini-games collected within. Difficulty levels. The 5 rehab games are usable for every user group, but also for individuals' needs. Arising from this, Splatterama, Shapeshifter, Garden Master, and Rhythm Game have 4 difficulty levels, from easy to medium, hard, and pro. The difficulty level of Splatterama is based on 2 factors: the speed of the moving targets and the time in which they remain visible for the user before they disappear. In the Shapeshifter game, the difficulty levels are based on a combination of brush sizes and whether or not a shape's path needs to be traced continuously from beginning to end. When playing the Garden Master game, the difficulty is primarily governed by the plant's water reserve meters' red, green, and neutral zones. Higher levels of play make it more difficult to grow the plants optimally by shrinking the green optimal zone while increasing the red zone. In the Rhythm game, difficulty is addressed in 2 ways. The first and most prominent way is to have different input layouts for each song, and with every difficulty the input complexity is increased. The higher the BPM, the faster the song and actions needed. Secondly, a time buffer is used for when an action should be performed. The shorter the buffer, the more accurate the user has to be. In A Day at the Office, there are no difficulty levels. The game presents a single linear difficulty scale. Also, there is no penalty or time lost for making mistakes. There are many different games that cater for different abilities, from easy shooting balloons to more complex, creating food orders. Scoring. The therapist assigns suitable games and difficulty levels for each patient in the VR Habit platform. The therapist will be able to see the rehab game's scores in the VR Habit platform. Depending on the game, the scoring data will consist of time spent on a challenge, amount of actions completed, and accuracy, hits versus missed.